Welcome to my castle.
Knight's greetings.
It feels like it's been forever since I made a V-Rising video. Probably because I recorded this footage last year. I released a castle making tip video that did pretty well, and I never released the follow-up. Until now. Really quick, this little building here, I feel like makes for a cool hidden passage that I will show off towards the end of the video. Since V-Rising got a new update patch, I felt it was time to undust this ancient tomb and properly send it off into oblivion. This is actually one of two different castles, and what you are seeing here is thematically the castle garden, or the grounds, with a garden, a church, and a mausoleum. A lot of people make really vibrant, radiant gardens for their castles, but I went in the opposite direction. It's ancient, overgrown, but with a spark of renewal around the church area. Also, yes, this chest in the garden maze does contain some goodies, and feel free to skip around the chapters as the main castle is shown off a bit later. The pavement around the church took absolutely forever to get right. It's a pain in the ass, but the results I think are worth it. I particularly like this spot here. Feels like it should have a tragic story attached to it. A little meadow taken care of by the groundskeeper who tends to roam around. This banshee haunts the church for whatever reason. One thing you may have already noticed, I'm very deliberate with my light placement. A lot of castles tend to go overkill on the lights, placing them almost everywhere. I like to have intent behind my light sources to build a certain kind of mood. The flower and tree placement here is very deliberate to give it the right thematic appearance. This is built in the cursed forest, so I like to imagine much of this area is still cursed. A lone grave in the back of the mausoleum, perhaps belonging to the banshee haunting the church. I think these teleport pads are placed pretty well to get around the area, something I utilize in the main castle too. Large, imposing architecture, plenty of fences, and deliberate use of light give this the Gothic atmosphere I desire to create, which I think came out pretty well. I do like this statue here quite a bit. I reworked this entire area a couple of times before settling on this concept. One thing I make sure to correct is that doors should not clip through objects. There is a slight issue here, and I've since corrected it. This entire castle is fully functional. I aim to create something that combined gameplay elements while remaining aesthetically pleasing. Each floor has a different theme, and the first floor is meant to be more basic, not too ornate, while also hinting at the Gothic atmosphere. You are stepping into a vampire's lair after all. The forge took many, many trials and failures to get right. This room was a nightmare to properly fit into the castle, not to mention I wanted the lights to not clip to the floor, so yeah, it took a lot of effort, and I am very satisfied with the result. Gotta have at least one spooky hallway. Part of the reason I split up the castle into two portions is because I wanted to have a great view. This will be more visible later. The second floor is more ornate than the first. It's got a bit of more wood, more decorated doors. Very specific room designs to differentiate them from one another. Notice how the lighting changes on the third floor? It's bright, energetic, perfect for a ballroom, and of course the room itself is more opulent. And this may be my favorite part of the castle. I spent a lot of time crafting this with a lot of attention to detail. I also don't like repeating motifs, but in this case, the Gato statue made a lot of sense as a centerpiece here. I think this entire area is just gorgeous. You may also notice that I do something very specific on my carpets. I do not let them go all the way to the door threshold. I don't think there's a right way to do this, but this is my preferred decorative style. Not super fond of this window, but I think it makes sense being there. This room was somewhat of a late addition, but I quite like it. It's hidden away from the hustle and the bustle of the main castle. The werewolf is shy, and those tubes on the left do a good job of hiding the foliage clipping. I like to think this was originally the attic before the addition of the floor above. I like to imagine these quarters belong to the lady of the castle, or maybe the original owners. Perhaps related to the grave and the banshee in the castle grounds. The windows here have heavy shutters to keep out the light because, you know, vampires. This room I completely redid from the original concept, and I love the end result. Perhaps there is another story here. And now the last stop on our tour. The cages here house the most potent of blood quality, unlike the dungeons on the first floor. To be buried with your riches, that's kind of the theme of this room. The golden motif works well in, I think, contrasting the drab tomb-like design of the vault. I think ideally in a realistic castle the throne room would be in a more accessible location, but this is a vampire castle inspired by Castlevania, so of course it has to be at the very top. And finally, the end of the tour and the most fantastic view yet, in my opinion. This is the secret tunnel I mentioned in the beginning of the video. It's obviously not real, but I do like to imagine that these 2 points are directly connected somehow. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed. If you're curious, it took about 3 months of effort off and on. The only mods I used were for the video itself, to remove the UI and unlock the perspective, though it is a little bit wonky. I'll have more stuff in the future. But for now, bye.